Today, we're diving into what is, without a doubt, one of the most incredible engineering projects ever conceived. We're talking about China's detailed, very real plan to build a permanent city on the moon.
And I know what you're probably thinking. A city? On the moon? Come on, that's something straight out of science fiction, right? A dream for our grandkids' But is that all it is?
Not anymore. Not even close. The incredible reality is that this isn't some distant fantasy. The groundwork for this lunar city is being laid right now. The first phase of this whole thing is already happening.
So, how in the world do you go from the empty, silent dust of the moon to a bustling human outpost? Well, it all starts with a very clear, very methodical blueprint.
The whole grand strategy really boils down to three key phases. Phase 1 is reconnaissance. That's what's happening now with all those robotic landers. They're basically scouting the location. Then comes Phase 2, construction. We'll get into the wild details of that in a second. And that all leads to the ultimate goal, Phase 3, habitation. Actually having people living and working on the moon full-time.
But before you can lay a single brick, you have to face the brutal reality of what you're up against. And let me tell you, the moon is one of the most hostile places you can possibly imagine. The challenges are just staggering.
First up, just think about the temperature. Here on Earth, our atmosphere acts like a cozy blanket, keeping things pretty stable. The moon, it has no atmosphere at all. That means during its 2-week-long day, the surface gets baked to a blistering 120 degrees Celsius. And then, during the 2-week night, it plummets to a mind-numbing minus 130 degrees.
Then you've got the radiation. Earth's magnetic field is our planetary shield against a constant storm of deadly cosmic rays from deep space. The moon has no shield. Its surface is just constantly being bombarded by this lethal energy. A simple metal wall isn't going to cut it.
And if that wasn't enough, there are the rocks, tiny rocks from space. Here, our atmosphere acts like a shield, burning up most of them. But on the moon, with no air, even a pebble hits the surface with the force of a bullet. The whole landscape is basically a record of this never-ending cosmic shooting gallery. And we've already had a very real, very harsh lesson about this. Back in 2019, the Chang'e 4 lander tried a little experiment. It carried a tiny, sealed biosphere. And for a moment, it was this incredible success. A cotton seed actually sprouted, the first little leaf on the moon, but within just a couple of days, the brutal temperature swings killed everything. It was a stark reminder of just how unforgiving this new world really is.
So, with all those deadly conditions, how do you possibly build a safe place for humans? I mean, launching all the materials from Earth would be unbelievably expensive. The solution? It's genius. You use what's already there. You build with the moon itself.
The entire plan, the whole thing, hinges on this one amazing concept, in situ resource utilization, ISRU. It's really just a fancy way of saying living off the land. Instead of shipping heavy, expensive building supplies from Earth, you just turn the lunar soil, the dust they call regolith, into your very own building blocks.
Okay, so the first method they're testing is actually pretty old school, just with a super high-tech twist. Picture this. A robot scoops up the lunar soil, packs it into molds, and then essentially bakes it in a super hot oven to create solid, interlocking bricks. Then, another robot, acting like a cosmic bricklayer, stacks them up to build structures.
The second method, though, is pure science fiction made real. It's a 3D printed habitat they call the moon pot. For this, a robot lays down a foundation, then melts the lunar soil, mixes it with a special adhesive that is brought from Earth, and then a giant printing head lays down this mixture layer by layer, building the whole structure from the ground up.
So, which one's better? Well, it's a trade-off. They're good for different things. The brick house method is amazing because it uses 100% lunar material, nothing extra needed, but it's not great at holding in air pressure. The 3D printed moon pot, on the other hand, with its eggshell shape, is fantastic for creating a pressurized, breathable habitat, and it's super strong. The only catch is you have to ship that special adhesive all the way from Earth. Okay, so building the base is one massive challenge, but powering it, that's a whole other beast. All this brick baking, 3D printing, and life support needs a huge, reliable source of energy, especially during that freezing 2-week-long lunar night when solar power is useless.
And the solution they've landed on is to go nuclear. For this, China has partnered with Russia, and specifically with Rosatom, which is the world's #1 builder of nuclear reactors. The plan is to build and install a full-blown nuclear power plant right there on the moon.
And here's the crazy part. The moon might actually be a better place for nuclear power than Earth. Think about it. Cooling a reactor is a huge engineering problem here. On the moon, you just stick it in the permanent shadow of a crater where it's always freezing cold. And nuclear waste? Well, on a world that's already soaked in cosmic radiation, a little bit more is hardly a concern.
So, we've got the building materials sorted, and we've got a power source. Now let's talk about the actual timeline. Who is going to do all of this dangerous, backbreaking construction work?
This is absolutely crucial. Humans will be the very last to show up. China's strategy is all about safety and efficiency. They're going to let autonomous robots do all the heavy lifting, all the hazardous construction first. These robotic pioneers will build the entire base, and only when it's fully built, tested, and proven to be 100% safe will the first human crew ever set foot inside.
And get this isn't some far-off dream. The timeline is already laid out. In just a couple of years, in 2026, a mission will map out those underground lava tubes. Then, in 2028, another mission will test the brick-making tech on site. Then, the main event. Between 2031 and 2035, 5 separate robotic missions will deliver and assemble the base, setting the stage for the first humans to arrive by the end of the 2030s.
Those 5 missions in the early 2030s are the absolute foundation of everything. The first one sets up the command center and the power plant. The missions after that will deliver research labs, the actual construction robots, more robotic explorers to roam the surface, and finally, observatories. Each one is a critical piece of the puzzle.
But even that amazing surface base, that's just the beginning. The ultimate goal is to go underground. You see, the moon is filled with these ancient, hollowed-out lava tubes. These are basically natural caves, and they offer perfect, ready-made protection from all that radiation, the insane temperature swings, and meteorites. They are the ideal location for a real, expandable lunar city. Now, of course, China isn't dreaming this up in a vacuum. This incredibly detailed plan is unfolding in a world where other space powers, especially the United States with its Artemis program, have their own grand designs for getting back to the moon to stay. And all of this sets the stage for a totally new kind of space race. This isn't just about planting a flag and taking some pictures anymore. This is about building a second home for humanity. So the real question isn't if we're going to build a city on the moon, it's who's going to lay that first foundation.